check, good. So I'm Max Duran, CWB Association Welding podcast. Today we have a really cool guest, Welding podcast.
The show is about to begin.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the CWB Association podcast. This special series is in conjunction and cooperation with WorldSkills Canada Competencies. These wonderful podcasts that we've been recording for the last few months have been all centered around Team Canada and all the amazing Canadian competitors going over to Lyon, France to compete in their respective trades. Today we have James Bartel coming to us from Steinbeck, Manitoba, who is competing in the collision repair program. James, how are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for asking.
So you're in Manitoba, Steinbeck, Manitoba. Let people know, where is Steinbeck, Manitoba?
So Steinbeck is about an hour southeast of Winnipeg, which is the capital city of Manitoba.
So you're pretty close to the American border there.
Yeah, fairly close.
Cool. So were you born and raised in that area in southern Manitoba?
I was, yeah.
So do you love it?
It's not comparable to some places, but then again, it makes traveling more interesting.
Yeah. I know that's a tricky question when I'm in Saskatchewan, so it's you kind of have this desire to leave your rural area, but in another way, it's home still, right?
Yeah.
So tell me, James, you're in the collision repair program, which I think most people would consider, autobody. It's kind of how they know about it. Is that the right term? If I say you're an autobody, is that kind of the same thing, or is that a different thing altogether?
Yeah, no, I think that's the same thing. It's just, I don't know, I've heard so many different names. Everyone uses it differently, so it doesn't really matter.
Now, in the collision repair program, what are some of the things that you do? What did you learn in the program?
So I guess there's two sides to it, right? There's the paint side and then there's the body side. Paint is a completely different separate competition.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm the body side, and I mean I've done pretty much I think everything at this point, whether it's pulling frames, whether it's replacing structural parts or non-structural parts, welding parts, like smaller repair on dents and scratches and all kinds of stuff.
Does it include like the glass and the glass work on a vehicle?
I have worked with glass, but as far as I know, that is not a requirement for this competition.
Okay, that's interesting. 'Cause I need a new windshield on my Mustang, and I thought maybe you could do me a solid.
It's going to be a far ride to get there.
Now, you get into collision or auto body, you're working on body panels. Now, you don't do mechanic work though. Like mechanics is different. They're more into like the engine transmissions, but you're doing all the framework, aren't you, around those parts that they connect to?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is usually by the time it gets like deep into the frame, it's a write-off at that point. So
yeah, I guess from an insurance point of view, right?
Yeah.
But what about from like the collector part of you, the James that likes building old cars up? Nothing's ever a write-off.
No. But I haven't got my hands on vehicles that were too badly damaged. So
No. So do you like cars? Is that how you got into this? Like, what made James get into this field of study?
A coincidence, to be honest, probably the most. I just joining high school, I didn't know exactly where to go, like what major to take. But because of my background, the way I guess my family was always working on cars, my dad was always fixing his own cars, and that was always interesting for me to see. So I thought that would be an interesting major to take.
Yeah. And when you started taking it, because you said your dad and your family had worked on cars around you, Did you find that it was easy? Like, did you like it right off the top when you started taking the classes?
It was because I guess the way that the program works, you start off the first 2 years, you don't touch cars at all. You just do like theory and then working with just metal and stuff like that. It's not the same as working on actual vehicle,
Mm-hmm.
but I still actually enjoyed it. It was still a good time.
Well, usually when people learn all the theory and stuff, it seems boring at the time, but as you move up in the industry, you realize how important it is, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, how long is the program that you took in Steinbach Regional College?
So,
Oh, sorry,
let's
the
see.
secondary school. Yeah.
So I guess 4 years in total.
Wow.
First year is a lot shorter, and then
Mhm.
the other years is a little more, but yeah, 4 years in total.
And how far into it are you now?
I just graduated high school like a few months ago,
So, for the
so
people
I'm
listening, like you're 17 years old, right? Like you're young.
I did just turn 18 here recently.
Okay, so you're 18 years old. Welcome to
I
voting.
am, yeah.
So that's good. We need people to vote. Now with with the competition and skills, how far in high school or what grade were you in high school when an instructor came up to you and said, "Hey, James, like have you ever heard about skills? Have you thought about competing?" When did that happen?
Yeah, so I believe that was grade 11. So I guess I was, let's see, 16 at
Mm-hmm.
the time. And then I was asked to compete first in the provincial level, right?
Yeah.
And then I was really unsure of it. I didn't really know what it was, didn't know the potential and all that stuff. So, but that went well. Kept going from there.
When you went to that first provincial competition in Manitoba, they're pretty big. What were your thoughts when you saw all these kids, secondary, post secondary schools, all there ready to compete their own trades, and then of course your own competition? What did you think when you walked into that?
Well, the thing is, like when I did my provincial uh, competition, it was during COVID.
Oh, right.
So I was I was simply with my skill area, right? There was no others. It was just the body guys that were there.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot less, but there's still enough people to where it was a little, or
A little nerve wracking.
looks like, yeah, a little nerve-wracking. Yeah.
And then what about when you did your first nationals for qualifying for Lyon? That was last year. It was in Winnipeg. Was that the one you were at?
Yeah, I was the one in Winnipeg. That's when I got the invite.
And that's the big one, right?
Yeah.
How'd you feel about walking into that huge thing?
Um, so that's a good question. I would say it was too bad. I was doing fine. Slightly like the first day probably before you actually start the competition, it's just like the orientation and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That was a little nerve-wracking, but when the day got started, half an hour in, it was all good.
Just get to work, right?
Just get to work out.
Now, what's your favorite part of what you do? Like in all the pieces of work that you got to do when you look at a vehicle and all the different types of repairs. What is it that you love, that you look forward to, that you're like, oh, that's my favorite part, or what I do best?
What I always look forward to is the finished product.
Yeah.
So it's fun to see it just develop and then come together, and at the end, it's fixed, whatever it was, right?
And now as you go down this journey, and do you when you're in your normal life, do you see mistakes on cars everywhere you go? Like I'm a welder, I'll tell you, everywhere I go, I see bad welds. Now, everywhere you
Right?
go, do
Yeah,
you see crooked cars?
yeah. Probably always like the panel gaps that I always see, or or like mismatched paint.
Oh, that kills you.
Yeah, yeah.
So now you're done high school. You qualified for Worlds. You leave in a few weeks here. It's like we're recording this third week of August. You're going to be in Lyon, France in September here. Um, are you ready for it? Are you afraid? Are you nervous? What's your thoughts getting ready for the big competition?
I don't know. I feel like I should have more. I should be more worried or something, but I don't know. I know it's coming. I know I've done what I could, I guess. So I'm just gonna go compete and see what happens. So I'm not really nervous or anything, I wouldn't say.
Good, good. And have you been practicing lots these last couple months? Trying to get ready for it.
Should have probably been more, but it was still quite a lot.
Yeah, you feel confident.
Um, well, the thing I just have heard so many people say that these other countries are just absolutely unbeatable. So confidence is definitely a little lower than it was in the beginning, but
Well,
I just
it's
think there's so.
yeah, everyone's that's the beautiful thing about a competition. Everyone's got their day, right? The best can have a bad day and the worst can have their best day. Makes all the difference in the world, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Now, when you get there, you're gonna. It's huge. I've been to Worlds before, and the level is nuts. I was trying to get into France, but I wasn't able to get there. But I was in Kazan with my welding competitor, and it was such an amazing experience. And I can't imagine as 18 years old, this amazing experience you're heading out on to go to France. What's your family think about this? The people around you in your hometown.
Um, some people are, I guess, a little surprised. And then I myself don't talk about it much at all. So the only
Man,
time people hear,
I would be bragging about it all the time. Why don't you tell anybody?
I don't know. That's just not what I do. I just do my thing on my own, and if someone finds out about it, we'll chat about it for a few minutes, and then that's it.
What about your high school teacher? What do they feel about you going to France?
Uh, well, one of my main high school teacher, I guess he was there the whole time through my collision repair program. He's now my trainer,
Oh, awesome.
so we still work together all the time, right? So
Do you know yet what the project is in France?
we we don't know. It's a blind project this year.
Oh, really? So you don't know what kind of mess you're walking into?
Not really. I mean, there's only so many things that like could be on the table, right? But we don't know for sure.
Now, with the auto body or the collision repair program, the competition, do you work by yourself or do you ever have to work like as a team with other people?
No, it's solo
So
the
by
whole way.
yourself. Now, you're going to go off to this competition. You're going to hopefully win first place and come home with the gold medal. I'm hoping for you, buddy. And when you get back,
Appreciate it.
are you gonna be following this career for college? Are you gonna go back and go get your red seal and start the whole spiel? And is this your goal?
That's kind of the plan. I mean, right as of now, I am actually going to college for a business degree kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
but it's only a year. And after that, I would most definitely try and go get a red seal. I just didn't see a good opportunity till now for like a shop, a place to start my red seal.
Yeah.
I just didn't have that opportunity yet, so I kind of thought I would go a little bit of a different direction for a year, try something new.
Well, it's good. It's
But
good, and learning business is always very good for you. Like I took a 1 year business course too, and it was very helpful in my life. Even in the welding world, just in terms of organizing myself and getting you know understanding the way people get made money and stuff like that. Right.
yeah, exactly, exactly. That's kind of my my thought process here.
Yeah, and then for if for your red seal, you like I mean, as many of us have to do. Have you thought about maybe having to leave the area? Are you okay with moving away from home for a while to chase your dream?
Well, I actually had a chat with a guy I met in Toronto 2 weeks last week,
Mm-hmm.
and he was saying like he runs 30 shops or something. He works for Auto Canada, and he said maybe we can make something work in Winnipeg, so I wouldn't have to really move anywhere.
Oh, that'd be perfect.
Right?
Well, and that's one of the things. Like, I don't know if you've noticed, James, but how much networking you do. Like, I can tell right now in this short little interview that we've done that you're a pretty quiet guy. You're pretty reserved. You don't talk much, right?
No, not often. No.
But skills has probably made you talk way more than you probably thought you ever would, right?
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
Did you ever think you'd be on a podcast?
Uh, no, that wasn't the plan at any point.
And see, look at what this is what you're doing. In your skills journey in the last, couple years, what are some of the things you had to really learn outside of body work? Like what did James have to learn to be better at, getting out there, competing and doing all the things that are expected of you now?
Uh, I would say one big thing that I learned regarding like the learning process was I feel like I came from this background with cars and stuff, and my dad would show me how to do this, how to do that. So when I went into this program, this collision repair program, I would often try and do things my own way because I thought that's better, that's how it works. And it took me a while to realize that it's better to just at least listen to the advice that's being given
Mm-hmm.
and not just stick to what you think is better. So that's taught me or helped me a lot. Just open up and just learn whatever I can learn.
And that's huge lesson to learn at a young age. When you're young, you always feel that the way you figured it out and it works is the only way you're ever going to want to do it. But then as soon as you get a little bit smarter, a little bit older, a little bit more wise, you realize that there's a lot of different ways to do things. And you got to figure out when's the right time to use the right trick.
Yeah,
Now, what was some of the hardest things you had to learn in your studies or even with the skills journey?
you mean like specific tasks?
Yeah, let's start with autobody. Like, what's the hardest things in autobody you've had to do?
Probably sectioning like a quarter panel, let's say, right? So welding it, like cutting it out first and then welding in a new one so that it fits perfectly. Like at first, that was quite a daunting task. At this point, it's pretty easy, but
Mm-hmm.
it was a hard thing to learn to get good at.
And make it blend perfectly so it looks like one panel.
Well, I don't do the painting, right? I just do the welding, and then you just grind it down. So
And then it's somebody else's problem.
yeah, pretty much.
What about with your own personal life? What's been some of the hardest things you've had to do to get ready for skills?
I'd say making time for practice, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I've always had so many things going on, and then I didn't realize how much time would have to go into practicing, and then having to leave for a week to go train and this and that. And it's just finding the time. Honestly, it's been tough.
Well, what are some of the other things you like to do in your time?
I uh, I work a lot, and then I use that money to have a lot of fun. So I travel. I travel a lot. I go camping a lot. Buy boats, flip them, buy jet skis, flip them, whatever, have a good time with them, and just go fishing, hunting, all the sports. I just do everything, honestly.
Yeah, you don't get bored?
Absolutely not.
Good, good. Do you see yourself in the auto body industry a long time? Like, what's your long term dream here?
Well, I think I've talked to a couple guys, and I don't want to be on the shop floor when I'm 40, 50,
Mm-hmm.
but I wouldn't mind doing it for a couple of years, and then if the company is big enough and there's potential to get more of like a office type of job, a managing position, like that would kind of be the end goal here.
Well, that's a good goal. That's what I did. I started off as a laborer, got into welding, and worked my way up into the office, and kind of never looked back. But if I wouldn't have had that time on the floor, I wouldn't have been as good in the office, right?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
you want people to know that you know what you're talking about. Like you want to have that street cred still, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, with the skills journey, this is going to open up a lot of windows for you. You already talked about how, you had conversations with a person in Toronto about possible work. Well, if you get a medal of excellence or even medal on the podium at skills at the age of 18, trust me, you're going to get a lot of opportunities. Are you willing to move away for like a crazy opportunity if someone offers it to you?
That's a good question. I would say not within the next year,
No.
you know. No, I'd like to stay here a little bit longer. If there's some opportunity, we could work some out, a year from now. I think there's a possibility for sure, but I wouldn't pack my bags a month from now and leave. Like, that's not really an option.
What if they said, come to Hollywood and build cars for movies?
No,
Really?
no.
Wow. You got some important stuff going on at home then.
Yeah, I don't need so much. Like I'm happy with what I got. And then with the plans I have, I think it'll all be fun.
You'll all be fine. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Like once you get back, and you're going to be working on your business certificate and then you're going to, figure out the long-term plan. What other things would you like to do? Like what are the things outside of auto body that maybe tie into it that you would like to do? Like, would you like to get into mechanics or even the painting side or what other skills do you think you'd like to pick up?
Well, I was definitely having a few thoughts about opening my own shop at some point.
Oh,
And then
awesome.
at that point, I would need to know how to do everything, right from the business side to the painting side to the body side, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's a big dream. That'd be fun. In your area, is there room for a new business like you in Steinbach?
Uh, I believe so. As far as I know, shops are fairly booked out, so
Good.
I think there's some room for it.
Well, and we always got winter where everyone crashes their cars, right? So
Yeah, absolutely.
awesome, buddy. Well, what are some of the things, just to wrap up the interview? What's one of the things that you think you're gonna be better at than other people at skills, and then what's one of the things that you got to really work on over the next couple weeks?
Uh, hmm, that is a very good question. I think speed. I think I'm fairly quick with what I
Yeah,
do. I can keep up speed and still be fairly accurate. I think that's a strong point I have.
that's very strong for skills. Timing is a big deal,
Yeah.
And then what's
Um,
something you got to work on that you're like, when you're there, you got to remind yourself, hey, James, make sure you do this.
maybe not rush too much. I think
Also, speed
because
might be too
yeah,
fast.
literally, yeah. Because if I go a little too quick, I could get it done fast, but I think I would compromise a lot in the quality.
Right. So you got to walk that fine line between speed and quality, right?
Yeah,
Awesome, man. Well,
yeah.
I hope you do super well in France. I hope you represent Canada well, and you're only 18, man. You got lots. You can go through the whole skills journey again as in post secondary,
That's true.
or you might be done with it after this. Maybe you'll be done.
Yeah, maybe we'll see.
Awesome.
But I appreciate it.
Yeah. Any shout outs you want to send out or hellos to anybody in your crew or family?
Uh, mm, no, couldn't think of anything right now.
All right, cool. Well, thank you so much, James, for being on our show today. Like I said, best of luck over in Lyon, France. And anybody that wants to follow along, make sure that you follow it online. All the skills competitions are going to be posted online with the times and the winners and the podiums and the standings. And James, I'm sure you'll do well, buddy.
Thank you.
Awesome. And for the people that have been following along these podcasts, make sure you listen to all of them. We've recorded over 15 podcasts with the WorldSkills Team and also people from Skills Canada and the board and the execs. There's lots of great stuff. It's all being shared through our network at the CWB Association and also the Skills Canada network. So check them all out. They're all wonderful, and make sure you follow along, comment, and tag us. Have a great day. Catch you at the next one.
We hope you enjoyed the show.